Yo guys, what's up? Ryan with Aethix Fitness here. This is the Massening Week 2. Yep, we gave it a name this time. So this is the second week of my 10-week bulking cycle vlog, taking turkesterone, eating more, and seeing how this shit goes. And I would say this week overall went pretty damn good. Bumped calories up by about 100. So I'm playing it careful with how fast I go into this bulk. So I want to gain like a pound every week or two maybe. My average weekly weight came out to 181.5 pounds right now, which is pretty much exactly where I want to be. About a pound up from last week. Overall, my progress is going pretty well. I feel strong, I feel full. I still feel like I'm fairly lean, which is good. And in terms of meals, I've been making my own seitan again, just to kind of, save money a bit. Obviously buying more groceries while I'm bulking here, so trying to keep costs down. But if you're not already making your own seitan at home, highly recommend it. I made a video on it. The only difference I did here in this time that I made it is I used soy sauce as a base mixed with water when I cooked it in the pan. And I also did 1 part chickpea flour to 4 parts of Vital Wheat Gluten, which gives it a better texture. I usually just keep it in the fridge and it stays for about a week or so. So some of my staple meals have been smoothie bowls, usually for lunch or something. I do frozen bananas, blueberries, strawberries, peanut butter, hemp seeds, and topped with granola. So really tasty option. It's like healthy ice cream basically. Tons of micronutrients, really easy to get in a lot of calories without feeling too full. I've also been eating a lot of wraps, so things like TDP or tofu with like rice, beans, a lot of veggies in there, and salsa, hot sauce, nutritional yeast. Really tasty, a lot of calories that way too. So I also have like a pre-workout supplement ritual that I want to show you guys. I usually throw in my creatine, beta-alanine, beetroot powder, citrulline malate, and turkesterone obviously in there, and just take it all in one shot. It tastes utterly disgusting. It tastes like sour, bitter earth, like that earthy taste from the beet, sour taste from the citrulline, and turkesterone's really bitter. So this mixture overall just gives you really good pumps. The citrulline might help boost strength a bit extra power output. I don't know if it's anything crazy. If you're not taking creatine already as a vegan though, highly recommend it. You're gonna make a lot of progress. And it seems to be very, very safe and effective for other things like, cognitive decline. It can be very good for that apparently based on studies. So highly recommended. My training for this week went pretty damn good, I would say. Nothing crazy though. I don't feel like the turkesterone is kicking in like crazy yet. It's only week 2. I heard that you might have to go above 2,000 milligrams or so to really get good results, but I'm taking it slow here. So I think it's on par with like average bulking, strength increases for me. Numbers aren't crazy yet, just still focusing on volume and increasing volume at like a lower RIR to manage fatigue still. Sets went up by 1 for most exercises, and reps came down by 1, and weight went up a tad still. So still very much just increasing volume, focusing on getting volume in. One thing that I want to talk about this week is overcoming a strength plateau for anybody who is trying to make progress past the point where they're stuck at. And the importance behind breaking through a strength plateau as a natural lifter is strength is tied closely with muscle mass. So you should be focusing on progressive overload, weekly, if not weekly. If you can't do weekly, then at least monthly or through a training cycle. So increasing your numbers on specific lifts in specific rep ranges is pretty indicative of muscle growth overall, although not the only factor, but a very important one. There's 2 main reasons why you're probably plateaued. The first one is you're training too much, and the second one is you're not training enough. And I would say for most lifters, I actually think they're probably overtraining at first. So for someone who's kind of following linear strength progression through a program like Starting Strength, they're probably overtraining at that point where they're just starting to hit intermediate level. I shouldn't say overtraining, they're probably overreaching, that's the better term to put it, but they're basically not recovering from the amount of fatigue that they accrued through a training cycle, and they need to dial it back for about a week or so and let their body recover and super compensate and feel fresh, be able to train hard again. So that's a common reason why people plateau, and the solve for that is really just incorporating a deload week. So take a week where the weights are really light and you're focusing more on form. So about 50% of your projected 1 rep max or so, which is very, very light, only for sets of 5 to 6 reps, something like that. Really focusing on form and speed. That's it. And let yourself recover. Let yourself relax a little bit. You don't have to go hard for this week. That your whole priority is just letting that fatigue dissipate and letting your body recover. The next reason is if you're just not doing enough volumes. So the solve for this is really to incorporate a volume block where you're training higher rep ranges, focusing more on increasing total sets per week through a training cycle. So if a training cycle for your volume block is, let's say, 6 weeks long, you want to ramp your sets up per week. Ideally, until you feel like you're making progress again. You should be tracking how many sets you're doing per week. If you're only training a muscle group 10 sets per week, it's probably just not enough. You want to work up to at least the mid to high teens or low 20s even to really make progress. And the whole point is you want to track how many sets you're doing and keep ramping up until you find that point where you're making progress again. So maybe start with 14 sets per week and end the training cycle on week 6 at about 20. And then you're going to need a deload and repeat. And if you're not making progress when you're hitting 20 sets per week, I'd be shocked. Especially if you're in a caloric surplus, which is my next point here. If you're not eating enough or you're too lean, the problem is your calories probably just have to go higher. You probably can't make progress when you're too lean a lot of times, especially if you're advanced. You might just have to go into a higher body fat percentage, which is very important. A lot of times you just can't recover enough when you're too lean. So bump those calories up a little bit. Don't worry about the fat gain. Some other common reasons are things like not sleeping enough. Obviously, you got to focus on recovery. Just improve your sleep a little bit. Things like melatonin or getting to bed a little earlier. You just kind of have to deal with it. Just get the sleep in to recover more. And being overly stressed is another common reason, although not as likely usually. And you just have to manage your stress a little bit. So resolve some stressors in your life if you can. Try meditation maybe. Just go have fun for a night. Like relax a little bit. Obviously, there's periods of stress where you can't do anything about, but that's kind of just the best way to deal with it. It can set back your progress for sure. So I hope that helps a little bit. Just really quick outline there. So as you can tell, I'm focusing on increasing volume right now to try to break my own strength plateaus, put on muscle that way, and then as we go back to a strength block, we'll focus on intensity and trying to break those PRs in actuality. So guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Peace out.